Storms are coming. I always love the clouds up here. They're just awesome. What is that, a little varmint right there? Yeah, that's groundhog, isn't it? I gotta do a video on clouds and shapes. Hello, this is Uncle Jim. We have thunderstorms, so I'm gonna load some more 9mm for the son's new toy and the rest of them. And I ran into a little snag today. I grabbed a bin here of some 9mm, and this is 9 we got from the thrift store. A lot of times the owners will go out camping and they'll go to all the shooting pits and just pick up once fired brass and sell it dirty, of course. Really cheap though. They sell it really cheap. And they sort through it the best they can as far as caliber. So I grabbed this bin and I noticed it had thrift store 9 on here. So I stack a few up. What I did was, it looks like in this batch, I just gave it a quick wet tumble just so I could handle it and get to it later and decap it if I want. But then I thought, no, it looks good enough. I'm just going to load it. You don't need to decap every time with pistol calibers. I do it every 4 or whatever to save time. So I set a few up on the table. I set them up straight so I can see if there's any 380 or Makarov in there. And sure enough, there was 380 in here. So I put this little sign in here, warning 380. So today, since we have thunderstorms, I'm going to show you a quick way to sort this. If you don't have one of those shakers for different calibers, which are very expensive to sort the calibers. And if you don't want to look at every single one before I just do that on the press before I throw it on there. So this is semi-clean. It's good enough for loading. Now I got to get the 380 out of there. So I'm going to show you a quick way. I've done older videos on standing them all up so you can see everything. And those all got deleted, so we're going to go from there. Another thing I like to do is take a very high-powered magnet and go through all the brass to make sure none of them are magnetic. So you want to check those. All right. These aren't, but there's a ton of these. And now we have to sort out the dreaded 380. Now, normally I'd be pissed if there was 380 in there. But now we have a few 380s. We went back to 380 because of the Wonder Ruger LCP Max. And then we got a Bersa. Anyway, rambling. So I'm not pissed because it's good to have 380 again. So, all right, I'm going to try and show you a quick way to stand them up so you can see the heights. And usually when I have them, if I'm loading them on the press, I'll have them stood up and I can just give them one last look before I put them in the sizer, okay? And that just saves a ton of time. Also, if you pre-clean them, just a quickie, before you handle them, your hands are going to be clean. So these I just wanted clean enough to run through the APP press, but I decided just to load them. They're fine. The APP will catch different heights. You'll notice it when it's coming on the slider here, especially if your caliber's smaller length than your bigger ones. It will jam. So this case, I just want to show you an easy way to check your heights and know what caliber it is. All right. All right, so I discovered this method when I was making 300 blackout from 5.56, and I wanted to spray some case lube in the necks to form them for the first time. And that is super easy because they're a longer case, but these are short cases and they're not as easy to do. But all you want to do is find the right size box for how many rounds you have or brass you have. And it'll depend on how much you have in there, per size box, and you'll figure it out real quick, because what you do is you shake them just like doing your primers. You shake them around this way, shake them around that way, nice and flat, you know, and they'll stand up. And the higher, you need higher walls, especially for the short stuff here. You'll see that these stood up better. I'm just shaking them around this way, shaking them around that way. It only takes a few seconds. This is another lower wall, but it doesn't work as good, so not all of them are standing up. And if you have too much in there, they're going to sit on top of each other. If you have too little, they're not going to stand up. You want them to roll off the sides, kind of like doing primers. Anyway, it works for me. And you got to have a flat bottom box or container. I like this big Tupperware. I just couldn't find anything better right now, so I'm going to have to dink around with smaller containers. Now, looking in here, I spotted one right now, right here. All right, what is this guy? Let me get the glasses on, the DEF CON 2 glasses. This is an S&B 9mm BRC. All right, thanks S&B for making it confusing for people. That's not a Makarov. I have a 380 right here to compare it to, laid on the table. That is a 380. So, okay, laying it on the table, you'll see. Now, the neat thing about this clear container, I just grabbed this under the bench. It's got a flat base, but I can look down perfectly level with my eye and see if there's any smaller ones in there. Now, you won't get them all, but you'll get them close, and then you can just stand these up. And then you pluck them, put them on the table, and inspect all your brass, okay? And if you want to get really fancy, you can take the, I should get a perfect container for this. You can take a flat box and cut two sides and tape the sides, and then flap it open and squeegee them on the table so they're all standing up without falling over. That would be an ideal situation for this, especially these shorter ones. But anyway, there's a quick way to sort your heights without having a separator. And it goes really fast. It doesn't take long. I didn't want to shake it on camera, but you're just shaking it, and the higher walls help because they'll just flip over and just find a spot here. And then you can, let me get these 380s together. There's one in here. I found one in the flat box. There's another one. So I wish they would just say 380, but that's going to confuse people. But it's not a Makarov, and that is 380. So they go into a bin. And then if you just want to, you know, not be fancy, you can just pluck them, put them on the table, because they're all standing up now, except for I spilled a few. All right. And once you do this once, you're good. And then they're separated. All right. And then you can look at them. You can actually use your magnet. Are we in camera? Yeah. Get this out of my freaking way. Okay. You can use your magnet and just make sure there's none that are magnetic, and then you can turn them around and look for any bulges or any weird stuff. Now, if you want to get super fancy, you can put a cover and flip it over like a primer tray and slide it on your desk, and that way you can see all your head stamps and separate your brass per brand or whatever it is, okay? So you can do that also. You could probably do it once they're on the table. You can probably do it with a big broad knife, you know, in a piece of cardboard, whatever, and flip them that way, and you can sort your head stamps. A lot of times in pistol calibers, I just use mixed brass, but if that's what you want to do, or you can go like that and start throwing them into their little bins, okay? All right, so that's going to be my morning. It won't take too long though. So the key is shake it in the box so you get most of them standing. Use a higher wall box, all right? And they got to have a flat base, otherwise they'll, you won't be even. And being clear really helps because I can see I don't have any low ones in there. So there's no 380s in there, and that's how quick it was to find that out. Unless you're using the APP and you're watching as it's feeding through the correlator. All right. Well, that's a little better. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. I was just in it, so I might as well do it. That is a terrible J. What the hell? Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.